on, we have a new face that probably many of you haven't seen before. I was fortunate last night. I got to have dinner with Dr. Branch, and I think you're going to find he's going to be a great asset to our industry. So, Eric, why don't you come up? I'll let you introduce yourself.
All right. Yeah, thank you for that introduction. I'm really happy to be here this morning, and thank you all for coming out and giving me a chance to just give the 10-minute spiel on my background and kind of why I'm here and working in the sugar beet industry now, and just a few words about my thoughts going forward. All right. So the first thing I want to say is I grew up in Alexandria, Minnesota. I'm now living in Fargo, NDSU, and I'm happy to be back in the Midwest. I grew up with my parents on a small fruit and vegetable farm, 11 acres. We had high-value, high-labor crops, high-tunnel tomatoes, cucumbers, peppers, cut flowers, all these horticultural crops. And that was really my first introduction to agriculture, and I had some great interactions with the University of Minnesota Extension System growing up as well, and kind of set me on the path to have this lifelong passion for agriculture. I carried that through, had a undergraduate education at the University of Minnesota Twin Cities, spent a few years in St. Paul, and there further developed my interest and enthusiasm, I think, for plant pathology, both through some coursework and some good research experience in that plant pathology department. Then went to grad school. That's where I've been for the last 5 years, and I just finished up this fall, so glad I got that out of the way. I spent my time at Cornell University in New York, so I worked mostly at that agricultural campus, the research station in the central part of the state, which is great. It's really close to dairy, corn, soybeans. There's a lot of nice, good flat land out there as well, and that's where the table beets are grown. Red beets, there's a fairly large canning processing industry in that part of the state, and I had the opportunity to spend 5 years researching and working on a PhD focused with Rhizoctonia in table beets, management, biology of that pathogen, and within that system. So just a few words on the red beet, table beet production. It's a unique industry. There's about 3,000 acres in the state, so it's not huge, but there is quite a bit of activity in that region, and rotated with other vegetable crops and dry beans and of course corn and soy as well. These are multi-germ seeds. They go in the spring, and the target population starts out about 1.2 million plants per acre. So these beets are plant to plant, 3 across in the row practically all the way. And this helps maintain a nice even size of about 3/4 to 2 inches at the end of the year, and then they go right into the cans, and the processors pay a premium for those small beets. And in the fall, 70 to 90 days after planting, and August, September, most of the harvest is wrapped up by September, and it's done using these top-pulling equipment, like a carrot harvester. So managing foliar diseases, Cercospora alternaria, is really important to the red beet industry as well, in part to facilitate that top-pulling harvest at the end of the year. So I won't get too technical in here too, but during my time I really trained with a great advisor for an extension. I want to be out and about. I don't want to be in the lab too much. Of course, it's fun to be there, but I want to get out and about, and I kind of had 2 goals that I set with my PhD thesis in writing and publications, thinking about some short-term management strategies. I spent some time with Rhizoctonia and fungicide, pre-emergent, controlling the pre-emergent damping off, and controlling the post-emergent disease as well with in-furrow and post-emergent applications, conventional and biological pesticides. And I also had an opportunity to pursue looking into the plant microbiome associated with a table beet, so all the bacteria, fungi that are right in the soil, in and around that root, that play a role in plant health as well. So still to this day, there's some limited fungicide availability for table beets. Different products that are labeled, and there's no SDHI seed treatments. So azoxystrobin in furrow is really the number one way that farmers can use to control rhizoctonia. And that was part of my research, was evaluating whether that first application was enough, or whether that post-emergent application was needed, and what the data and the science had to say about that practice. And there was also, I had opportunities to evaluate some newer products. There's been some increasing demand for organic table beets in the processing industry, so had to kind of play around with some new products and kind of see what else was out there. So that was exciting to me too, and I hope to carry some of those skills here as well. Now that the microbiome, I could spend, we could be here for an hour. I could get the graphs out, get the charts out, but I'll just say that it was really interesting to see the idea being that some of these organisms in and around the plant root have a protective role against rhizoc, and there's been a lot of work in sugar beet. Actually was kind of my inspiration, so kind of coming full circle. Some work in Europe looking at how these organisms interact with the fungicides, interact with the plant disease as well. So now that I'm here, sugar beet extension goals, I'm opening up with a blank screen here because I want to learn and listen from all of you. I'm happy to be here, happy to be hearing the research presentation today from my colleagues at the University of Minnesota and North Dakota State University. I want to carry that forward. I really do have a dedication to the extension land grant missions of North Dakota and Minnesota, that extension research and education part. And I've been stepping into this role, really felt supported by the research community in Fargo and in Minnesota, and the growers, the industry. And I hope to work together and accomplish these goals and resilience, agricultural productivity over the long term. Like we just heard about, great new tools, right? Genetic tolerance in the beets, and how to manage that and carry that forward into the long term, and really keep things going for years to come. Collaboration is going to be a huge part of my program. I hope to meet a lot of you and work with you, whether that's on-farm trials, hearing what your experiences are during the season. Maybe I'll get a phone call if you see something, some leaf spot, something new, always very exciting. Symphylium alternaria. I know Ashok had the chance to introduce those a little bit, and really targeting some applied steps and some recommendations, and working with the co-ops to figure out what we really need to be doing and what the steps are, and get some good solid data to back those up. Yeah, I doing okay for time? Yeah. Looking for the long term, I also want to keep thinking about managing the fungicide resistance, as well as really delving into what we can do with some of the research opportunities, and looking into how soil health and the microbiome may also play a role too. I think that's an important avenue of research. We have a lot of questions, not a lot of answers right now, but definitely a valuable avenue too. This summer, I've got some plans to continue the North Dakota State University's strong history of some product efficacy and field trials, evaluating different timings and products and treatments, as well as some collaborations with the USDA Sugar Beet Unit, Dr. Nathan Wyatt, and the team and Ashok in Minnesota to dial in exactly how to best carry forward these fungicide-resistant management goals, and mode of action rotation with the DMIs especially. So, yeah, I have a little graphic there. Disease severity, it goes up over time, right, as the year goes by. And our goal, my goal, your goal, in part, is to help keep that curve pushed back, that red line. So by the end, harvest comes around, we have nice green leaves and good, healthy sugar beets. So that's what I got. Thank you.
We have a minute. Does anybody have a question for Eric? I know he's new. You're really going to like working with Eric in the future, so thank you so much.